Hi, I'm Dr. Marc, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Let's talk about what makes Dimash's performance of If I Never Breathe Again so awesome. Here we go. Okay, a few things here off the bat. Number one, he put the mic and the stand like all the way to the ground. He's crouching on the ground, and it's kind of a strange thing. We don't see that very often. So the tendency would be like, that's weird. Why is he doing that? No, instead, if we look and think, okay, what does that communicate? What is he accomplishing with that? There's a few things. Number one is he's getting closer to the audience. At least it seems like from this video that the audience is down below him. He's up on the stage, and it's a quieter, more intimate song, a moment. And the cool thing about him dropping down like this is, yes, it is unique, and it gives us a new level. By levels, we think sitting's a level, kneeling's a level, sitting's a level, sitting on the edge of the stage is a totally different level. The more levels we can give an audience, the more visually interesting it is. And so he just finished his song standing up. He's given us a new level. It helps us feel like there's a big shift in momentum of what's happening in the show when we have such a drastic shift in levels. The other thing that it communicates is a sense of vulnerability, right? It's vulnerable because he's not in position where he can be threatening or attacking. He's down, squatting there, and talking to someone really close, almost like he's talking to a child. And it creates a more intimate, safe, personal feeling experience for the audience. So really cool and interesting. Now, you have to be really careful if you're crouching like that in what it's going to do with your voice. Why? Imagine. Try crouching and singing, see what happens. Well, it's going to really kind of constrict and put pressure here on your lower stomach. It has potential to kind of throw your head out and really mess with the alignment here of your voice. But you'll notice here he's keeping the core relatively stable. He's not trying to sing loud in this moment. He's singing relatively aspirate and light and easy with a far back placement, letting the mic do the job. And so not only does that contribute to the atmosphere and this feeling of intimacy and vulnerability, but it also does not require him to have everything lined up perfectly to still be healthy. It's a healthy sound, sounds awesome, and reads really well from the audience's point of view. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say and what you're seeing, what you're noticing, and how you emotionally react to it and respond. So far, really loving it. Okay, notice the vibrato going through there? That combined with the aspirate sound, softer, further back placement, is all softening it up, making it super easy, soft, intimate, relaxed, and comfortable. That shimmery fast vibrato is actually a sign that things are relatively relaxed and working efficiently for the most part, and it is a sign of release of tension. So if that straight tone, there's no vibrato at all, is actually a sign, and it makes us feel like it's more emotionally tense. So another tool that you can put in your toolbox, learning here from Dimash.
Could
Okay, throughout this whole moment, keeping a very similar vocal color. It's keeping the mood really low, calm, relaxed, taking us down into this, I don't want to say low energy moment in the show, but it kind of is. We have high energy moments, and then we need low energy moments to kind of decompress and relax and be ready for the next moment, right? So he's really softening up vocally. You also notice this fog that's creeping in from the back. What's that all about? Well, it softens things. Again, you'll notice all these elements that are softening what we're seeing visually to match musically what we're hearing as more soft, kind of on the super romantic side of things, right? So it's all softening things down. Also pretty impressive that he's staying singing in this lower position. My knees would be dying by this point, but he just looks like he's super comfortable doing his thing, talking with the audience down there. The question might be raised, well, doesn't it kind of ruin the moment if he's talking to the audience? Not if it's on purpose. Now, if the whole show he's directly talking with the audience back and forth, it might not work for every song that he's doing, and it probably wouldn't. It probably kind of ruin it a little bit. But finding moments where you can connect directly with the audience and doing it on purpose is great. The best time to do that is in between songs and talking and interacting and joking or sharing gratitude for the audience. Those are great moments to talk directly to the audience, and then when you get into the song, live in the imaginary world of the song. But if there's a few moments where you're really wanting that song to be spoken to your audience, like Dimash does on a regular basis, because he has a really personal connection with his dears. So there are songs that he is very intentionally singing to the audience members to show his love and gratitude towards them, which is really smart. And it's a sign of a performer who knows what is going to make him successful. The people who are watching and care, and that he's willing to acknowledge that and bring them into it. Love it. Notice that? He took it off the stand. He's preparing for what he's about to do. He's thinking well in advance what he needs to do logistically so that he's free to do what he wants to do artistically. Really important to take the time to really plan out what has to happen to help you be free and comfortable and do what you need to do. If you don't, then you're always going to be trapped by the logistics. So take that time to think ahead of how you're going to make big changes. Most likely, again, this is the first time I'm watching this through, he's probably now going to go from this kneeling position to standing up. The singing's probably get more intense, more clear. He's kept us in this lull for quite a while, which is excellent. And now, just like any good performer, he's going to take us back up into a high, taking us on the roller coaster ride that we love. So let's see what else we got. See if he actually does that. Let's see. Clearer. Less sound spread. Placement's coming forward. Drops the jaw, opens it up, gets us a richer, fuller sound. Took us on a roller coaster ride up, and now he's bringing us back down again. Lovely. Did he finally end up standing up here? No, he didn't. He did move a little bit more. He was a little bit more expressive, vocally more intense, and he lined up his body to be able to do that. It's not always about using the logistics to follow through Like we were saying before, it's about creating the freedom. Part of the freedom is if you don't feel the impulse, you don't feel the drive to stand, then don't. Stay there. But he knew that it was very possible that he might. Or that at least he just wanted to move around more, be more free and not tied to that music stand. So he got rid of it, which allowed him then more freedom to follow the impulse if he wanted it. The beginning, it was relatively still, calm musically, emotionally, what he's doing with his voice. So he could be tied to that mic stand. It gets more intense. He knows he probably doesn't want to be tied to that mic stand anymore, especially in this position. Or maybe his arm is just getting tired. Who knows? But he followed his instincts to try to free himself up so that he could then do what he needed to do if he felt the impulse to do it. So, cool.
To do it all again, I won't change a thing. I may break, but I never hurt.
Oh, higher larynx, brighter, more forward, and gets this really youthful, vulnerable sound. Cool. Love it. Try it today. Try keeping a wider ass sound, letting the larynx raise a little bit. Again, we don't want it up in our throat. We want it to stay relatively consistent on the pitch, but that will adjust and shape the sound a little bit, that larynx position. So the other thing you'll notice is that he's using this mic stand now as a prop to hold on to. What does it communicate to you emotionally that he's holding on to it and kind of gripping it? Because the gesture isn't frozen, he's not just locked onto it and holding on to it like a cane or a lifeline. It lets us know that what he's doing with it in his hands is part of what he's feeling emotionally. I'd love to hear what it communicates to you. To me, it communicates an increase in intensity of emotion, maybe a little bit of desperateness, grabbing there, and is really effective. So what can we learn from that? Use what's around you. Everything can be a prop. Not that you have to pretend and use it as a specific item, but that you should connect with everything that's around you. Touch it, feel it, let your hands engage with it in a way that is organic and believable and human. Really interesting there. He stood up, which gives us this feeling of more emotional intensity. And he was for a moment there a little more clear in his voice, a little more power, a little more intensity. Actually, right before he stood up, then he stood up and the voice pulled back again, which is really interesting because it gave us variety, gave a build in emotional intensity, but kept it soft and kept this mood going. It didn't break the mood altogether. It kept it really fluid. So really interesting choice. What can we learn? Well, if you're wanting to keep things relatively smooth and not be jarring and keep the audience in a certain mood, you still have to keep a lot of variety in it. Otherwise, they get bored and they check out. We don't want that. We want them to stay riveted. So we have to give them visual variety. We have to show emotional ups and downs and take them out on that roller coaster. But the way we do it and keep the mood, if we increase what's going on vocally, that's an emotional increase. We want to counterbalance that with what we're doing physically to keep it kind of at a level. We stand up, in this case, increase emotional intensity with what we're doing with our body language, and we reduce what we're doing with our voice a little bit to decrease the emotional intensity there so that the overall value stays relatively calm and consistent. So even though it's a roller coaster, it's a more gently rolling one that is not jarring and still has enough variety to keep us interested and to keep us engaged with what he's doing. So love it. And it's gorgeous. Okay, here at the end, Another thing I really love is he doesn't just blow a kiss out to one part of the audience. He like makes sure that he hits each section of the audience. Really deliberate about making sure that every single person in that room feels like he cares that they're there. And I genuinely believe he does care that they're there. He seems to be really in tune with his audience and with caring for them. So love it. And it shows in his performance too. So really, really excellent. Gorgeous song. Loved how beautiful it was and how well what we saw matched with what we heard. Still giving us so much variety in what we're seeing and what we're hearing to keep us engaged, but keeping that mood so romantic and intimate and calm. Lovely, lovely stuff. Obviously, we love when Dimash hits his highs and he has so much power in his voice, but these songs where he just keeps it so soft, not just dynamically, but with the colors of his voice, and is able to show the nuance in what he does, are really stunning as well. Someone who can be really nuanced, not have to do a ton on stage, and still keep us captivated, to me is the sign of a really talented, maybe better said, refined artist, that they're able to accomplish so much doing so little. Efficiency, simplicity is a sign of elegance and command. And I love that. I think it's gorgeous. I would love to hear what you have to say, what you learned, what you saw, what you loved, how you reacted. And don't forget to click like and subscribe. You can find me on Wizio.com and send me a short video clip there for me to react to. If you want me to respond to your singing or just questions that you have or specific clips of anything, I'd be happy to respond there. If you want a voice lesson, performance coaching, or want me to help you or your group sing easier or perform at a consistently higher level, find me at mrperformingartstudio.com and book a time. I look forward to working with you online. See you next time.